rebuilding. After disaster strikes, many residents in Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico are picking up the pieces after hurricanes damaged their homes, really altogether. Joining us right now to talk about the recovery effort is the chairman and CEO of Taylor Morrison. Sheryl Palmer is with us. And Cheryl, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So Taylor Morrison is the nation's 7th largest builder. Your company has development communities and certainly development in the communities where these hurricanes have hit, Irma and Harvey. What has been the impact? Tell us about the recovery plans for those areas.
So, you know, it's been an amazing many weeks. I've never seen anything quite like it. As devastating as it's been, what's also been quite tremendous is the way we've seen these cities come together. I mean, we've really seen heroes in the markets. When I look at the company, we came through the storms very well. So for us, it's really about rebuilding the rest of the city right now. As I said, we had very little impacts. I think there was quite a difference between new construction and older communities, and so I think we and many other home builders did quite well.
But what are the challenges? I mean, there are concerns about labor shortages, right? There are concerns about the cost of building materials following these hurricanes. So how does Taylor Morrison respond to that and give us the challenge in picking up the pieces?
No, you're absolutely right. Labor was an issue before the hurricanes, and it's a bigger issue today. I feel we're very fortunate. We got a little bit ahead of it this year. We started, very early in the year recognizing the labor challenges, putting a lot of new production in the ground. So we got a good head start, which will serve us well. But the market's tight. It's getting tighter. I mean, the insurance companies, FEMA, are obviously needing that labor as well. I think we're already feeling it in Texas and Florida, and we'll start feeling it in other parts of the country as people move to Texas to really help the cause.
Yeah.
So have wages gone higher for various functions at your company or within the sector in general?
Yeah, as you would expect. I mean, some of the issue here needs to be solved with wages. But if I look at materials like wallboard, the wallboard's not necessarily going up, but the labor to install the wallboard. And right now, we're seeing increases on those materials, but it's really about getting folks onto the jobs and staying. So it's premiums, it's offering incentives to get them to finish.
Yeah. We had Don Peebles on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he made an interesting point. I wonder how you see this. He said because of all of these islands devastated by these hurricanes, a lot of those people are not going to rebuild their homes on the island. They're going to move to Florida. They're going to leave. They're going to even when you look at a place like Houston, maybe they'll leave Houston and go to another city in Texas. I mean, what's your take in terms of people leaving where they were and going into Florida or other states?
Yeah, I think it's difficult to compare Houston to the island or even Florida. We've seen this over so many years and years, and you continue to see them being rebuilt.
And they go back to their places.
And they come back. And when I look at Houston, I mean, it's one of the most booming. Even you look at what Houston's been through. You look at through the energy sector and how it continues to thrive. And I think we will see that here. We need to fix it, and sooner than later.
Can you tell us where we are in the housing cycle right now? We're a decade removed from the housing bust. We were talking before you came on about the Arizona market. Mm-hmm. Are we near another peak in the housing cycle? Is there room to run on this? And how are you trying to manage that cycle as you put in capacity for your own construction business?
I'm pretty bullish about where we are. I think the downturn was unlike anything we had seen, and I think the return is also going to be unlike. We are still building on the deficit of household formation. I mean, we just don't have enough shelter. So I'm very optimistic on what we have ahead of us. I think you'll have a lot of bumps along the road, but we just don't have inventory. When you look at months of supply, I think our better days are still ahead. People say, how do you compare it, from a sports analogy? I'd say we're in middle innings of an extended game.
And how do you prepare for the risk of another boom that could go wrong?
Yeah, I think, shelter's a basic need. So when I look at the company strategy, Taylor Morrison's strategy, it's really about making sure that we protect the business and our shareholders through a full cycle. This is a volatile business. We know that. core locations with services and schools and good transportation will always be a need. And so, you know, our strategy across the U.S. has really been about making sure that we are in communities where people want, where there's employment, the basic needs that we know people will always have. It doesn't mean that it won't soften, but I'm confident that it protects us through the full cycle.
It's interesting to see where we are in the market at a time that the rest of the economy seems to be coming back. How would you compare that to what you're seeing in the broader economy right now in terms of housing?
Yeah, I mean, we are not building to meet the demand today in many parts of the country, and we can talk about a number of reasons when you look at the return from the downturn. So I don't think it quite mirrors it. A lot of it is exactly what you said, Maria. It is the labor side. We just don't have the infrastructure to rebuild to meet the need today. I mean, if you think about the labor that's available today compared to the downturn, one of the statistics I like to share that I think really summarizes it is during the, you know, if you go back 10 years, we had about 997,000 workers on the ground, and we were building about 2 million houses. Today, we have about 330,000 workers and about 1.1 million, 1.2 million. And we've lost the most experience. They've aged out. So we're down on experience. We're down on numbers.
That's interesting, really interesting. Cheryl, thank you so much. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, my pleasure.
Good to see you. Cheryl Palmer there.